The details of the peace deal between Israel and Hamas take shape. ICE catches an illegal immigrant murderer after a string of killings and a manhunt across multiple states. And the Senate votes down a reopening measure as the shutdown hits day 9. I'm Daily Wire's senior editor Cabot Phillips. John and George are out today. It's Thursday, October 9th, and this is Evening Wire. New York's Democratic Attorney General Letitia James was indicted by a federal grand jury this afternoon. James, who campaigned on a promise to target Donald Trump and ultimately charged him with fraud in a New York courtroom, has been under investigation since May of 2023. She's now charged with mortgage fraud after allegedly lying about her primary residence while purchasing a secondary property in Virginia. James joins former FBI Director James Comey as the second high-ranking official to be indicted by the Trump DOJ this week. The Israeli government approved the first phase of a plan to end the war in Gaza today. It's the first official move toward what could be the end of the 2-year conflict and will ensure the release of all remaining hostages. It comes almost 2 years to the day of the October 7th Hamas terror attack on Israel that precipitated the bloody conflict and revealed a wave of anti-Israel and anti-Semitic sentiment across the West. Progress towards peace comes after protests in New York City on the anniversary of October 7th called for the destruction of the Jewish state. Here's a soundbite from one of those protests earlier this week.
Our work is not done! We must show up! We must show up! Stronger than we did the first October 7th! To make it clear that we are not going anywhere. We will keep fighting until Palestine is free! From the river to the sea!
As the government shutdown chaos continues, Democrat House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries got into a shouting match with his fellow New Yorker Mike Lawler, a Republican. Daily Wire reporter Amanda Prestigiacomo has more details.
The shouting match took place after Lawler confronted Jeffries about his refusal to compromise on Obamacare subsidies, which has been a key point in the shutdown fight. The heated debate lasted for more than 5 minutes as Lawler peppered Jeffries with questions on why he isn't willing to sign on to a compromise that would extend COVID-era Obamacare subsidies for 1 more year. Jeffries has maintained that Democrats won't back down from their demand of a permanent extension and previously called the compromise a, quote, laughable position. The Democrat leader told Lawler, quote, "First of all, I don't answer to you. You don't even answer to yourself." The shutdown has entered its 9th day today, and there's still no sign that it will end anytime soon.
Controversy has erupted after a Texas church expelled a member over his social media posts opposing H-1B visas. Daily Wire culture reporter Megan Basham has more.
The Trails Church in Dallas announced to the congregation that local coffee shop owner Daniel Keene was no longer a member after Keene refused to apologize for a viral X post. Now, in that post, Keene shared a video of his neighborhood streets being blocked by a crowded procession in honor of the Hindu god Ganesh. Along with the video, Keene posted, "We have to cancel the H-1Bs. I want my kids to grow up in America, not India." The post drew widespread backlash in the heavily Indian community, and Keene's business was hit with hundreds of fraudulent Yelp reviews, his CrossFit gym membership was terminated, and anonymous emailers tried to extort money from him. According to Keene, Trails church elders then summoned him and his 8 months pregnant wife to several meetings where they characterized his immigration stance as uncharitable and sinful. They then demanded his repentance for harming his neighbors. Keene told John Harris of the Conversations That Matter podcast that he refused because he felt he'd done nothing wrong.
The way that it kind of resolved, or the way it culminated, was that last meeting, brought into both the elders and was told that I'm not, obviously not submitting to the elders. I need to go to another church. We need to protect the flock. You need to go. You're not welcome. In as many different ways you can say leave.
The Blaze, which initially broke the story, reached out to the church for comment, but did not receive a response.
ICE has caught an illegal immigrant gang member after a string of murders and a manhunt across multiple states. Daily Wire immigration reporter Jenny Terr has the story.
An illegal immigrant gang member was on the run after killing a man outside a California strip club in 2022 when authorities in Texas nabbed him for killing a woman just days ago. Cambodian citizen Savin Sang, who told cops he's a member of the Asian Boys gang, is now in custody after he was found walking down a highway with a loaded pistol in Victoria, Texas. Sang, who now also faces federal weapons charges, has a lengthy rap sheet in California that includes 2 convictions for burglary and 1 conviction each for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, felon in possession of a firearm, and domestic violence. He entered the U.S. illegally in 1984, but was ordered deported in April 2016. ICE previously had him in custody, but wasn't able to obtain travel documents from the Cambodian government to send him back, an issue the Trump administration is seeking to resolve by forcing, quote, third countries to take in foreign criminals.
Eric Trump clashed with News Nation host Chris Cuomo over claims his father's administration is weaponizing the Justice Department. Daily Wire assistant editor Andy Valdez has the details.
Eric Trump lashed out against News Nation's Chris Cuomo during a tense interview on Tuesday. Cuomo suggested that President Donald Trump is using the legal system to go after his political opponents, a tactic the president has accused Biden of doing. The younger Trump fired back with a series of pointed questions.
Did we strip Biden off the ballot of multiple states? Did we take Biden off of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and try and silence his voice so he couldn't communicate? Did we put Biden in a courtroom every single day? 91 felony counts that have all been overturned for my father now for nonsense to try and keep him off of a campaign trail and to try and destroy his life? Did we do any of that? And the answer is no.
Trump also accused Cuomo of hypocrisy, calling out that the same people who went after his father also targeted Cuomo's brother, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. But Cuomo insisted that he was concerned about the abuse of power, whether it comes from a Republican or Democrat.
France is reeling this week after its newly elected government has collapsed a mere 14 hours after its formation. Daily Wire reporter Tim Pierce reports.
The French government is in crisis after Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu has resigned only 27 days into his tenure. His departure comes soon after that of his predecessor, François Bayrou, who was removed in September after losing a vote of no confidence in the National Assembly. The resignation forces President Emmanuel Macron to appoint his 6th prime minister in just 2 years, intensifying scrutiny over his leadership. The latest political breakdown stems from a bitter dispute over the national budget, which has paralyzed the legislature. With 12 parties represented in the National Assembly, none holding more than a quarter of the seats, efforts to form a stable governing coalition have repeatedly failed. Jean-Luc Mélenchon, leader of the far-left France Unbowed Party, declared that the only path out of this crisis is for Macron himself to step down. Macron, whose term runs until April 2027, has stated he intends to serve his full mandate. But with political divisions deepening and no signs of a compromise, France faces mounting uncertainty over how its government can move forward.
Donald Trump has weighed in on the controversy surrounding the next Super Bowl halftime performer, Bad Bunny. Daily Wire senior editor Joel Needler has more.
President Trump took aim at the NFL's decision to feature Bad Bunny as the Super Bowl halftime performer during the big game in February. During an interview with Newsmax, Trump said he'd never heard of the Puerto Rican recording artist and called the decision, quote, absolutely ridiculous. The NFL and Apple Music announced the selection last month, sparking backlash over Mr. Bunny's past criticism of ICE. In a viral video, the 3-time Grammy Award winner referred to ICE agents with profanity and said he avoided U.S. tour stops over safety concerns for fans. Critics also note that all of the artist's songs are in Spanish, a fact Bad Bunny addressed during an appearance on Saturday Night Live, telling viewers, quote, if you didn't understand what I said, you have 4 months to learn. Earlier today, photos emerged of Bad Bunny remaining seated during the national anthem at Yankee Stadium. There are now calls to boycott the NFL and to replace Bad Bunny as the halftime performer.
And Elon Musk is investing billions of dollars in Memphis to expand his AI infrastructure. Already operating one major data center in the region, XAI has now acquired a second, larger site and is planning dedicated power plants to support extreme electricity loads, potentially on the order of a gigawatt. That's equivalent to the power needed for around 800,000 homes. As governments and businesses increasingly stake future plans on AI, tech players are fiercely competing for dominance. Musk, known for electric vehicles, satellite internet, and rockets, is now doubling down on new AI infrastructure after initially trailing rivals like OpenAI in key technology and scale. The Memphis expansion represents his latest effort to position XAI at the forefront of the industry's development. But city leaders and residents are watching closely. While the economic uplift is appealing, concerns over environmental impacts, energy costs, and the strain on water and power grid infrastructure are mounting. As plans move forward, it remains unclear how much community pushback, regulatory scrutiny, and technical constraints will affect the project's viability. Those are your drive home updates. To learn more about these stories, go to dailywire.com. And in case you missed it this morning, we covered a slew of other important stories, including Israel and Hamas agreeing to phase 1 of Trump's Middle East peace plan, the ATF arresting a Florida man in connection with the deadly Palisades fire, and the Supreme Court weighing arguments on Colorado's ban on so-called conversion therapy. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning with another full edition of Morning Wire.